call them Glampies and Glamnecks. Alright, so we got all these hippies here in Oregon, except there ain't nothing hippie about them except that they talk like these hippies. Let me tell you something, that's funny. It's kind of like here in Tillamook with all of the rednecks in this town. They're not real rednecks. These are emulators. It's like the little farm boy wants to call himself a cowboy because he live in Texas. No, boy, you a babysitter. A babysitter. The weirdest goddamn thing for me is seeing somebody here in Tillamook, Oregon wearing a goddamn cowboy hat. Are you fucking kidding me, son? Cowboy? No. That don't fly. Like, they sure as hell racist. Oh, yeah. And, of course, with outward appearances, they try to look like rednecks and sound like rednecks. And, well, they're literally emulating what a redneck's supposed to be. Which is different from having to live with a bunch of real goddamn rednecks. If you getting drunk like a fucking idiot every goddamn day, because that's what a redneck's supposed to do. You being a racist asshole at every opportunity, because that's what a redneck's supposed to do. You ain't a real goddamn redneck. Ain't no rednecks going out of their way to be fucking redneck every moment, every day. Ain't none of them. They got lives to live. They don't have the glamorous, joyful experience of playing redneck. It's kind of like in Chapel, Nebraska. When I moved there, it was in the 90s, right? I grew up in the system with a bunch of minorities in big cities. And I get drumped off in fucking Susie White Bread Wonderland. No, it's racist Redneckville, motherfuckers. Even them women's is racist there. That's what they're taught to be. My 10-year high school reunion, I was the only man there who didn't look pregnant. Yeah. Emulators. We live in Nebraska. It means we have to be corn-fed and fat. The law says so, or some such nonsense. Emulators. Kind of like we got these people wanting to tattoo swastikas in their skin and emulate Nazism. While, of course, I don't know the first thing about being a Nazi. They want to go selling this stuff that the Holocaust never happened and there were no concentration camps, of course, labor camps. Well, for goddamn certain there were. Emulators. It's like these guys who want to talk about going camping, and you go camping in a 40-foot Winnebago with all the fold-outs and exclusives and shit, dude. You drove out there in a mobile goddamn apartment. You ain't got nothing to do with the fucking woods. And then you want to tell us out here about how you understand because you went camping with your daddy once. Cute. You got these rednecks out here. It's real military heavy too. I've been noticing this in a lot of military retiree neighborhoods and the like around the country. These are the First Amendmenters that want to talk about how they'd kill anybody and everybody. No, if you were in the military, you shouldn't be allowed back in the United States. You're a trained killer. You're a fucking psychopath. You went and knowingly and willingly decided that it's okay for you to go kill people over somebody else's fucking politics. If you're able to do that without a second thought, shit, I tried going into the military. I admit it. But I also couldn't stand the thought of killing another human being. It just sickened me. as it should sicken all of you. But it doesn't. You look at how many people through all this, since Natalie's death and before, wanted to talk about killing me, how I should be killed, they should kill me, and so on and so forth. Lots of people assaulted me, but none of these dumb son of the bitches ever had the balls to kill me. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with my friends, don't fuck with my family. I didn't grow up in fucking Susie White bread neighborhood. I grew up in the system with real minorities. And then I got dumped in Chapel, Nebraska with real fucking racist goddamn rednecks. Let me tell you about Clint Snell. He's a racist goddamn redneck, but he's a nice guy. Sure, he's a fucking idiot, but he's a highly intelligent idiot. Also, if you happen to be a black person in Chapel, Nebraska, and your car breaks down, whether he flying his rebel flag or not, I believe he might be one of the folks, one of the very few folks in that fucking town who would stop and help you. Maybe. Sorry, there's a dog. Dogs are more important than my phone, especially in real life. So I'm looking at the dog. It makes my life better. It's kind of like whenever I see a black person in this town, it makes me feel better. And I'm going to explain to you how that's racist. It makes me feel better and safer to see a black person exist in this town. But I don't know if they're rapists or murderers or anything of that nature, just like I don't know that about any of these white people. I don't know for certain that they're a good person. I don't know for certain that we're going to get along. But minorities do kind of paint a picture as far as racism goes. In Chapel, Nebraska, yeah, blacks and Mexicans don't live there because it's actual hell. Here, I mean, people are trying to live up to a fucking stereotype. Kind of like in some schools. You go to Chapel, Nebraska, and the whole school, basically the whole town lives up to the reputation of nobody in small towns cares at all about your academics. They only care about football. Well, very much so in Chapel, Nebraska. Lodgepole, Nebraska as well. When they made that movie Varsity Blues about football in Texas, well, yeah, you care about football. You don't care about your neighbor getting stolen. Not if she's homeless or he's homeless. Oh, somebody disappeared from Tillamook? Oh, well, it happens, man. Yeah, of course it happens. And then those people end up dead because people like you happen. People who go, it happens. I guarantee goddamn to you that wouldn't be your reaction if it was your daughter, your sister, or your wife, unless you fucking killed them. And then, of course, we got these Glampies out here. Basically, they smoke a bunch of pot and pass judgment on others, and then say that they don't pass judgment and they're hippies. But they're not hippies, they're potheads, that's it. Being a pothead does not make you a fucking hippie. When I talk about emulators, let me tell you about one of the best examples I got. All these Midwest farm boys, Chapel, Nebraska, watched Boys in the Hood once, and now they listening to gangsta rap, trying to speak in Ebonics, sounding like nerdy white boys doing it, and saying, this just how I talk. This just how I talk. No, this isn't just how you talk. You're trying to emulate a society you don't know nothing about. See, while you listening to that gangster rap and you were idolizing those people and idolizing that lifestyle, what you ain't paying attention to is most of those folks singing these rap songs, these dirty rap songs, they ain't singing about the booty. that they get from fame. They singing and speaking out about getting up and out, getting off the streets, getting out that neighborhood, getting out the projects. Of course, if they make it big, well, unlike Tupac, most of them, that's the point where they go, oh, wow, I always dreamed of making them big and getting up and out. Now, of course, it's all about the vagina and the booty, and I'll sing about the vagina and the booty. Tupac didn't do that, and I didn't even like Tupac until after he was dead. Matter of fact, the first song that I actually listened to and liked was released right before the MTV Music Video Awards. I like the video. It's called I Ain't Mad at You. Next thing you know, he's dead. Well, that happened rather quickly. We got all these kids in Chapel, Nebraska. Many of them ain't even left Chapel, Nebraska, wanting to talk about how gangster they are, how tough they are, how rough they are, how they'd shoot you. So then, of course, we got rednecks in Chapel, Nebraska, who are hating on a bunch of people who are trying to emulate a black society that, in reality, is fantasy for most of you. And, of course, fantasy for most of the black population. Yes, there are parts in that can absolutely be seen as real-life renderings of common experiences. But not just for black people. And all these white kids all across America listening to rap, wanting to emulate the rap game, wanting to get into the dope game. Go, man, if I get into doing that and I talk about how I lived in the hell of it, I lived in the thick of it, man, maybe I'll make it, maybe I'll get me a private island with some bitches and some hoes. Like, come on now, can't you have more respect for women than that? Can't you have more respect for yourself than that? There are millions of people in the United States that would, well, they'd give their left testicle for what you got for advantage of every day. The family that you got that didn't get fucking shot in a drive-by because you a Midwest farmer's son. You standing to inherit 30,000 acres because you a Midwest farmer's daughter. But you want to emulate a society that doesn't exist there. Now, Chapel, Nebraska, it's become more tolerant for homosexuals. That's because of people like me. It's become slightly more tolerant of black people and Hispanic people, and that's because of me. No matter how much they hurt me, no matter how much they screamed N-word lover at me out the window, I never bit. That bait is rotten and it'll make you sick. That propaganda is rotten and it'll make you sick. Y'all want to go glamping and call it homelessness? That makes me sick. You want to emulate the worst parts of a society you know absolutely nothing about and pretend that's just who you are. No, it's not. It's the image that you want to pretend to be. And that image is cowardly. You know how I end these videos. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. Oh my God, I think I just talked until all my stuff was... I did. I think I grabbed it all. If not, they'll tell me in the morning. I should be able to take a look in my vehicle and tell if I put everything in there. Yeah, I did. Alright. It was about to close in there, so I wanted to make sure I got everything taken care of. I didn't take in as much as I thought I had. Let's see, got that bag. That bag. Grabbed my man purse. I think that would have been the last thing out. No, I think I did get to talking and left some stuff in there. So they ended up cleaning it up because I was not paying attention, and I will wait until tomorrow to get it. Shit. Oh, there's my man purse. Multitasking. Got friends like that too, you know, they talk about doing friend things. When they need somebody to do friend things, they're gonna call you up because you'll do those friend things. If you're really trying hard not to blow your own goddamn head off at that point in time, because nobody gives a fuck and you need fucking help. But then they want to go, oh, well, Sean, I've got kids. Bitch, I need help. And your excuse for not helping me is that you have kids. I need you to speak up. You're asking for me to do things that are going to cost me thousands of dollars I don't fucking have. Hold on a second here. When I asked for you to speak up when this shit happened to me, what did you do? You told me that I need to take care of it myself. Well, you need to take care of it yourself. You got access to those resources. You have more of a chance of getting help from those resources than I do. You wanted to throw me at those resources when you could have helped in person. Well, guess what? I can't be in Colorado to help you no more. So you're going to have to go to those resources that you tried sending me to. Oh, but I got to see that you were going to those resources. And while you were telling me that I was making excuses when those services wouldn't help me because I had to go in alone, then you had to go utilize those services. And you had to go in alone. And even as a female, you got turned down. Doesn't that suck? When I get to an area, I find out where the services are. And when people ask me where the services are, I do my best to turn them on to those services. The services that they need. Even if those services didn't help me out. I know that if you're a woman, they're more likely to help you out. If you're a woman who has somebody with you, they're a lot more likely to help you out. Yeah. Of course I'll help you out. That's the help that I need. But then again, if I help you how you need, are you going to help me the same way? Are you even going to recognize it? I've had a lot of people that, since Natalie died, you know, they were able to get into housing and all sorts of other things because they had me there with them. They wanted to complain, oh, I've been trying this for years. I've been trying that for years. And it doesn't work, Sean. Well, that's because you had to go in alone. I'll go in with you. And some of them want to argue, and, well, they can argue, and they're on their own. And some of them take me up on it and actually get what it is they're looking for because they have someone that goes in with them. That right there denotes that somebody actually cares about them. And if you blow them off and break the law, you might have to pay some consequences. But if it's just you, it's your word versus theirs, nobody gives a fuck. Even if you record it, unless you're a pretty blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl, nobody gives a shit. Well, that's not true either, is it? Because we got emulators. Every black person's sob story must be true, and we need to halt everything that everybody in the goddamn country is doing to cater to a bunch of black people who are pretending to be victimized because of their color of skin. We have to stop and cater to a bunch of women who are pretending that they're being victimized because of their gender. Like this lady officer here who's complaining about how much is it? Less than $2,000 difference between her and a male employee. Now that difference could come down to something as simple as how many hours they were there, how much overtime they had to do. When it comes to women out here getting services, even though most of these services are earmarked specifically for women, they end up going to specifically women in houses with kids. Or women who have a friend or family member who works with the Department of Health and Human Services who can get their shit fast-tracked. All right. There's a lady over there having problems with her vehicle. She was parked next to me. And she's still trying to get it working. So she's been parking in different parts of the parking lot so that she doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. But she was sticking out like a sore thumb last night. She's also got a light that's out. And she's obviously not rich. She'd like to replace the light. She's looking to try to find a shelter. She's got the thing for helping hands, and she's got the, well, I gave her the information she needed, and she wrote down the numbers that she wanted because she wants a shower. And even though some of those services did not help me, a lot of those services actually did. They just didn't do their jobs as mandated reporters, and later on felt that intimidating me was an acceptable way to conduct business. Like the last time I went to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the lady who was there, she said that she would talk to me in the back room. We got into the back room. The whole conversation took less than 30 seconds because she wanted to treat me like shit, and she wanted to do it out of the eyes and ears of the public. And she wanted to treat me like I was not a human being. Wanted to talk down to me as if I were a dog. Well, fuck your church. And no matter what you did, no matter what your church did, no matter how much help you gave me for anything at all, that right there is a deal breaker. That right there is intimidation. Intimidating a victim is not okay. I tell you for goddamn sure, if I intimidated her back, it wouldn't be okay, now would it? Of course, there's a big difference between intimidating somebody and someone pretending to be intimidated. What are you scared of? If you're afraid of going to prison if people hear me, but you claim that you're afraid that I'll kill you and chop your dog's head off, well, that makes you a predator. That makes you a horrible excuse for a human being. Meanwhile, we got to deal with the glamping Louis Vuitton bags, don't we? Louis Vuitton. The next iPhone. You complain about how difficult it is to keep your head afloat. Look how difficult it is for somebody to get up and off the streets. How much money you are willing to let be spent. Money that you fucking earned. Money that many of these fucking homeless people earned. And you're spending in excess of $100,000 a year to incarcerate them. Each. Where the fuck is all your money going? Well, you're a dumb bitch. It's going right where it should go. Down the toilet. Because you're not paying any fucking attention. What's the difference between a prison and a concentration camp? Nothing. You're less likely to get shot escaping from a prison camp. If you ran away from a prisoner of war camp in World War II, they tried not to shoot you. Sure, they were ordered to shoot you, but it was better if they could capture you. But then again, if you're running away from that camp, it'll set the example. Yeah, those guards in the prisons, their job is to fucking murder you if you try to escape. Their job is to victimize the shit out of you if you tell on any of them for the crimes that they commit. These are not good people who seek these positions. Meanwhile, this is not the first time I've heard about this wine-tit woman. Holy shit. $1,000 fucking difference. And this guy Will Chappell is willing to write a report about that. Well, holy shit. Maybe I should call up Mr. Will Chappell. Maybe I should tell him about the human trafficking. Let him know I just need a place to sit down and go through the videos to find the evidence that he needs. I need a safe place to do it. Of course, then I gotta hope he's not related to or friends with anybody at the hospital or the police force. It seems to me he's quite friendly with that woman who feels she was cheated out of the whole $1,000. Ooh. Law enforcement in this town alone has cost me more than that. Ain't no such thing as a good cop. And if any cop shows me otherwise, I'll tell you. But you gonna expect me to just believe? Well, no matter how much you believe in unicorns, there aren't any. There aren't any good politicians either. That's a figment of your imagination, just like the Keister Bunny and Shanty Claus. A lot of people told little white lies because they didn't want to get in fucking trouble. I don't give a shit if you want to get in trouble or not. I'm the one taking the consequences, bitch. Well, you want to be a glamper. Or you want to be a glampy. Or you want to be a glamneck. It's one thing to listen to rap, it's another thing to be an emulator. The first thing I see when I see an emulator is a fucking poser. I see a wannabe. I see somebody who is obviously delusional and schizophrenic. This just how you talk? No, motherfucker, you talk like that in front of your mama, she gonna slap the taste out your mouth, stupid. Don't play dummy with me. There was a black guy I knew in Boulder. Used to talk like that all the time. Used to try to throw himself around Boulder, Colorado like he a real G from Denver. He was born and raised in Boulder, Colorado. His mom and dad are well-to-do. By well-to-do, I don't mean well-to-do upper middle class. I mean very, very well-to-do. I've been to his house. He didn't want me to go to his house, but his mama invited me. And holy fucking goddamn Jesus, could you believe it? He sounded like an upper class white man in front of his mama. Never once did any inclination towards speaking Ebonics come out of his mouth at any point in time in front of her. He was well spoken, as if he had been trained by an English gentleman in how to utilize perfect speech. So emulating gangsta's paradise ain't limited to farm boys. Just like racism is not limited to white people, just like sexism is not limited to men. Y'all's a bunch of emulators. I'll take what I want from a society. Fuck the rest of it. Greek democracy was a fucking shit idea. The democracy that the pirates had was a wonderful idea, and it worked extremely well against nations that forced their citizens to take part in wars. The pirates chose to actually fight for their freedom. The United States was not based on Athenian democracy. It was based on the Brothers of the Coast, the pirates of the Caribbean in the 1720s, the survivors of Queen Anne's War. Get back to your glamping. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and no victim left behind.